Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Skull Island.
Skull Island essentially was the first cinematic destination. It's a place that feels like it could exist in our world, but it's heightened and it's surreal, and a big part of it is about trying to tap into the idea of myth in general.
Jordan was very keen that Skull Island should be made up of places on this planet. He didn't want to recreate Skull Island in a studio with lots of green screen and paint the island in digitally. He wanted to go to real-world locations.
Pretty great, man.
We started in Oahu in Hawaii, and then in Queensland in Australia, and then Vietnam.
In order to create our Skull Island, we went all over the world to try and find places that you hadn't seen on screen before. To really ground people and ground my actors in a space where it felt tactile and real.
Fall back! Go, go!
And it helps. You're not standing on a soundstage, but you're actually in the thick of the brush. You know, you're actually in the lake. You're by these places with real fire, real heat.
Before you guys run, you're slowly walking away for a good 5 steps. You're still facing the fire.
One of the things we're also getting here is a variety of flora and fauna and just visually places that don't look familiar to movie audiences in terms of geography and the otherworldliness of it.
We're trying to get nature in its raw form and show the diversity of the island. As you continue to travel through it, you see the variations.
And so it really was this plan to sort of take Hawaii and Australia and Vietnam, where you're taking fundamentally different aesthetics and looks and fusing them together into something that feels as vicious and beautiful and terrifying as Skull Island.
Reassembling the crew in 3 different countries is a lot, but they're going the extra mile with this one to really give us some dazzling visual imagery.
Hawaii is almost like a natural soundstage, and you take advantage of that. And then the trick to Hawaii is, well, everyone's shooting in Hawaii. How do you make it unique?
What the hell is this place?
This is what's left of Kong's parents.
In the previous iterations of Kong, we never know where Kong came from. We don't know anything about his species or his family. And the boneyard in this film is a way for us to kind of see what's happened before our characters have arrived at Skull Island. We see the remains of his parents. We see the remains of other creatures. We actually throw a little bit of an Easter egg in there in saying that there could have been dinosaurs at one time on this island. But it's basically a killing field.
We were in Hawaii for like 2 months shooting sort of in these big valleys where the boneyard is, which is really, really amazing because you just look around you and it really puts you in that world.
The boneyard was one of the most exciting things. It was immediately like, well, this is just a playground. This is scary on its face. We don't have to act a lot of this.
It's a very unique, eerie feeling that when you're in it, you feel like something could happen at any moment.
You're not faking anything. You're really there, and they've built these massive structures, and you're really in a giant boneyard. But it definitely puts you in the character's shoes, for sure.
We have our A bones and our A pieces. They're sculpted and taken as far as we can take them. Then we have B bones and ribs that are just sculpted to be light and fabricated, moved around.
Do we want to see this in any specific orientation?
Just the fact that you see some ribs, like maybe like cresting out.
We have a lot of cow, buffalo bones, then a lot of just random skeletons.
Yeah, it was unbelievable what they developed. They had what I hope weren't human bones, but they sure looked like them, but just all kinds of crunchy stuff to walk on.
Wrapping out of Hawaii, and the King Kong bus moves happily to Australia.
In Australia, it was a way for us to keep moving globally towards Vietnam and then also take advantage of other looks.
Hey, camera marker.
We shot at this paper bark forest, and all the trees sort of look the same, and it's got a very dreamlike quality to it. Really beautiful, like creeks and jungles.
Australia is one of the great wildernesses. The trees are taller, the leaves are greener, the forests are very, very beautiful. That's added so much, I think.
You know, shooting on Gold Coast was fantastic because there's such a variety of different environments. From a near desert look to dense jungle to rocky outcroppings, but also the stage facilities at Village Roadshow were really fantastic for us.
This is 15 feet deep.
Cool. How deep am I going when I fall? All the way?
Well, we have the ability to take you all the way, but I think if we can get kind of 6 to 8 feet, golden. Okay?
Okay.
All right, great.
Cool.
I'm Lieutenant Hank Marlowe, and these are my friends.
As far as the different looks of the iwi, they had said that a lot of ships would be shipwrecked on the island. So you would have a lot of different cultures that would be blended into the tribe.
We've tried to have fun and do something different with our villagers on the island. What we've tried to do in this is to, for once, give an island kind of a South Pacific kind of feel and give the villagers kind of a feeling that that's really more of where they are.
Looking at all the cultures from around the world, early ones, the thing that stands out is they made their clothes. Like they wove the fabric. So it's all hand sewn or tied.
The iwi design was something that Jordan came up with very, very early. He started asking that these lines and squares be painted on the iwi and also in the village.
I'm just kind of obsessed with pixelated shapes. Those old sort of video game shapes and those hard edges and those 90-degree angles are just kind of embedded in me. And I really liked the idea of creating something that felt very modern, yet old at the same time. And so we discovered this sort of paint pattern to put on the villagers that served multiple purposes. And at first, it just seems like, oh, that's really interesting and that's decorative and that's cool. But then you understand that the paint itself also has a language written within it, and that is their language.
One of the ideas was, if you have this language and it's written on the village and you have it written on themselves, there could be a sense for camouflage.
I think you want to do this neck and make sure that this is all done, so it looks like it goes off and then off into the...
But when you first see the iwi, you don't see them, and then they reveal themselves when they step away from the wall of the village. Where it really works is in Australia.
I think we need probably 25% more yellow on each of the guys.
Something going across the leg and like even just like a little bit of that corner.
On a day where we have our iwi villages working, you know, we had 70 makeup people working.
They can come out and up, but the out one's short, the up one's long.
It's time consuming, you know, in order to get that much work done to a performer in the amount of time that we're allotted. You know, we have 3 and 4 people working on one person. And there's quite a bit of detail involved in trying to get it to the level that the director and we all wanted to get. It's a lot of manpower to do something like that.
You guys look amazing. All of you.
She's like, eh.
Just the sequence of the iwi sort of coming out of the walls was just so bizarre to shoot because you walk into the set and, you know, you really can't see all of them.
Whoa! Behind you! Whoa! Stop! Stop! Whoa! Stop!
No, no need for that. Come on now. Everybody keep your wigs on now.
We only see a hint of that Stone Age world when we first meet Marlowe, but the design and the story kind of flowed into Vietnam.
The indigenous tribe of the island, there's a greater mythology to them. They are a part of the Kong mythology. To have a village, to have a wall, these are all things that are relatively important to Kong mythos. I wanted this tribe to be something that worshiped this beast, to understand that he is the god of this island. It became a really great and interesting and hard task to create something that felt fresh.
This is a film that's kind of about improvisation. So coming to Vietnam, you can't come with a full crew and say, okay, this is what we're going to build. This is what I packed up. This is what's being created over. We have the constraints in terms of like how we bring this equipment in here. So this village, for instance, was something we'd never really planned on building to this extent. When you see the walls and you think, oh, okay, the walls have a certain color palette and that's tying into how the huts were built, that's complete serendipity. I'd love to say, well, of course, this is what I'm gonna do, and then I'm gonna have my painter come in here. But it's really having a tremendous Vietnamese crew come in and go, these are actual materials, and this is how we would build it. And this looks beautiful. And the more we got, the more Jordan liked, the bigger the set got. And now I think the acreage on this set is larger than the boneyard. And that's just coming into a place, finding the honesty of what it has, in this case, the materials, the people, and building it. It grounds everything. It will really help when you bring Kong into an environment that's grounded and real.
It's crazy. I mean, the places that we've shot are breathtaking. Stuff that once you open your mind to there being monsters around, it's not hard to picture King Kong coming through the jungle.
We're getting to see some beautiful places in the world that I would probably never see on my own or never kind of discover. It's a very specific world, but with all these different sort of environments all encompassed in one island. It's been amazing.
We're able to take the best jungles from Vietnam, Hawaii, and Australia and merge them into a look that would be completely something that Jordan can own.
It really has been, start to finish, a great experience.
You actually can't tell which country you're in. You feel like you're on Skull Island the whole time. It really is something to behold.
Fire in the hole!